Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game of the Max and part 2 of our Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich, the Dominion of Canada, or also known as the British Exiles. So, in the last episode, we have went through quite a bit of our, well, not quite a bit, but a little bit of our tree. We did the King's Speech, drafted Bill C-17, or C-7, finished out the creating the IEDC and the ISAC. And now we have also completed, right at the end of the last episode, Quebec in Flames. I left it up to you guys. Some people said to go with the Invoke the War Measures Act. Others said just suppress. And I'm actually probably going to just go down the suppression tree. Not that I don't find going full authoritarian Democrat fun. I absolutely detest Edward VIII. And that's the real reason why we're not going to go that route. I know, it's kind of a weird reason why, but I cannot stand that man in real life. So, we're going to start on up. We could do some royal visits. Don't have enough political power there. But we are saving up our political power. I'd like to actually get up to... not get up to, but get probably another advisor at some point. And maybe even, well, I want this army reformer here. We can do armor, infantry, artillery, screens, commandos. Maybe commandos. Naval range factors. That's kind of nice. I would like to take my Navy, especially Atlantic Command. We'll just have these guys trained for as however many days they can. There's the fall of Gibraltar. Ooh, I did forget while we're sitting here talking. I did have troops over here fighting in the Spanish Civil War. It looks like, where is my troops?
Yes, sir.
Where are you at?
Attention.
Oh, down here in Gibraltar. We'll just take the capital here. And this should be the end of the Kingdom of Spain. And that leaves the Carlists. And the Carlists usually join the Entente.
Move out.
A little bit of lag there. Kingdom of Spain is annexed. Whole lot of lag there. Now we should be up against the international forces. I most definitely want to move into this tile. There's the standoff in the United States versus Huey Long, the combined Syndicalists, and old Floyd Olson. Sorry about that little cut there. I did just get a phone call, so let's keep on. So that was the American Civil War kicking off. We have the American Union States, and we have the combined Syndicalist states. Suggestions from Walter Guinness and the Commission. Walter Guinness and the rest of the Commission have come up with a suggestion to help the situation within the West Indies, and it is a 2-year fund in the West Indies to help them along with their new multitude of projects to help the region. Well, this will take a toll on our income. It could serve significantly towards helping calm down the rampant socialist movements within the West Indies, along with helping them develop their industries along the way. Increase the funding for 730 days, or surely this isn't ours now. West Indies monetary compensation, which grants daily political power gain, negative 0.05 for 730 days. And, of course, the West Indies Federation gets funding from Canada. So that's fine. It knocks us down to 0.96 a day instead of having 1. But at the 2-pounder, QF 2-pounders. And we'll get rapid fire. Then I do want to head over here and
Ready.
should be taking this tile. The situation in America. The government is becoming alarmed at the rapid developing crisis in the United States, particularly the rise of the Socialist Party of America. A syndicalist-aligned nation on our southern border would be unthinkable. The violence is already terrible to the point that numerous state governors in the American Northeast, lacking confidence in the federal government to maintain order, have asked us to step in should civil war break out. We don't have the answer to their request yet, but once the deadline ends, we may very well be forced to. Unbelievable.
Ready, sir.
The National Research Council gives us an extra research slot. First and foremost, I know I'd like to kind of get into all of this, but let's do this Quebec in flames. It's just 3 focuses. We'll do suppress the Quebecios. We've had enough. Understand the interest of the Quebec is one thing, but letting them decide when they get to be a part of this country, when to fight for it, is beyond reason. If they wish to talk, it'll be after the RCMP and the military have gone in to restore order. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, also known as the Mounties. Get a little bit of training for these guys. Probably Davy Shipbuilding. Can't do anything yet. So we will suppress, and then we'll probably come over here. Oh, we can't do it just yet, so that's fine. Hoping Canada, or not Canada, New England ask us to step in. They don't always. If they don't, they don't. If they do, be nice. Bombings in Quebec. Emergency crews were called to an arms factory in Quebec this week as a huge explosion racked the facility, causing a great deal of damage. Factory management blames a group of its own French-Canadian workers, although no proof of this has so far been uncovered by RCMP investigators. Unbelievable. Quebec, the military factories received 0.5 levels of damage. That is crazy. Of course, don't have an agency. We'll have the RCMP special branch created. Trying to get us at least somebody to start suppressing down these guys. Yeah, New York, they don't seem to be wanting to come into the fold at all, which is, if they don't, they don't. Let's see what Floyd Olson can do. Usually, I've never seen both of them split up with Floyd Olson. I've seen one or the other come about, but I think, let's see. No, it's not there. I might not be able to see it anyway. Collins ousted by radical coalition. No deal with socialists can last for long. So yeah, they did the velvet glove instead of the iron fist. And they also did the plan fails for the Garner-Wagner bill. Socialists assume full control in Norway. It's very sad. There's the Second American Civil War kicking off. And the legation cities collapse. So let's see. Shanghai is under who right now? Nelson Trusler Johnson. Alright. China fractions even further. Let me move that so that I don't accidentally click something. Norwegian Socialist Republic joins the Third International. America in chaos. Chaos has overtaken our neighbor to the south, and even worse, the Socialist Party of America has proclaimed a stronghold right off our southern border. A number of the northeastern governors in New England and their states beset by syndicalist militia violence have formally asked the Canadian government to intervene. Clearly, they feel the federal government is incapable of the task, though some of our ministers feel this might be seen by some of the factions less as intervention as more as an aggression. They say the matter should be debated in Parliament before any action is taken. For New England, at least, this might not be quick enough to save them. Hold off, or we finish the New England question, and we get to take all of the New England states. We get political power, or we get all this territory. I like the territory. So we got the New England question done. Oh yeah, steal from the United States. Oh yeah, they hate us. Does that make sense? It says we're trading with somebody. There it goes. We'll get it from our most hated frenemies, Germany. The question of New England. Now that we've intervened in New England, a number of Canadian ministers have met with the leaders from these states regarding how best to keep order. The states have suggested setting up a provisional government for the region, one that would at least initially be under our control and brought into the Entente Alliance. Some members of the government, however, have suggested it would be better if we simply occupied and administered the territories ourselves. Americans, they say, can sometimes be of a suspect loyalty Grateful or not, their goals may not mirror our own. Set up the provisional government, play as New England, or continue with the military occupation. I think having them just be a autonomous puppet. I really don't think Floyd Olson will actually win this. So we're going to set up the provisional government. Mexico joins the Third International. Okay. What's happening down here, by the way? You're authoritarian. You're authoritarian. You're social liberal. And I think you guys like us quite a bit. So if we can maybe form Central America with Nicaragua, might be interesting. Might be interesting. All right, so we've got that. And so we can do a Royal Canadian tour. Increase that. Hold off right now. Now we have New England under Wilbur Lucas Cross. He's a literary scene. Okay. Social Democrat or Social Liberal Democrat. The Social Conservatives are called the Prohibition. So they got the Great Depression, which, wow. Ooh. Limited recognition, and then reluctant populace. They're reluctant to go to arms, declare neutrality in the fallout of the national crisis. Right. So you got the America's Darkest Hour, the Square Deal, the Southern Fire, reorganize the National Guard. Yeah, okay. We'll suppress the continue on. Go back over here to Spain and look at what's happening. Spain seems to be doing relatively okay. We're in Granada right now. Look has fallen there. Refugees flood into southern Ontario. With the situation in America worsening, it's no surprise that the Dominion of Canada has become the top destination for those fleeing the violence. Many of the immigrants are legal, but our increasingly large numbers are not. Already there are several refugee camps in southern Ontario, many of them coming from Ohio, and their numbers are putting a strain on our supplies. Observers comment that the situation is likely to get worse before it gets better. American refugees, the irony, southern Ontario adds the following local supplies, negative 20%. Ouch. We can invite New England into the IEDC, which we will do. And I will also send them 1,000 rifles once. And that's it. They don't need much more than that. They have 9 units right now. New England agrees to join, and they give 50. That's awesome. So we can do an IEDC investment into us or the French. I think maybe us. I would like one. Invest in civilian factories, military factory, or naval dockyards. Let's do the arms factories. Alaska requests intervention. The American territory of Alaska has experienced a severe shortage of needed supplies following the outbreak of civil war. After recent bombing in the city of Juneau, the Alaskan governor is fearing a breakdown of order, one that the far-off federal government will be too busy to respond to. Thus, he, like the New England governors, has requested that the Canadian government intervene for the interim to keep the peace. We should move in. We become the controller of Alaska, and it no longer is a core of the United States. We'll move in. We got Alaska now. And the good news is, we'll actually switch away. I didn't realize infantry was. We'll do the Canadian Mounted Police, and I will add MP units to them if I don't have it researched. That's fine. I will research MP units when I'm able to. Come back over to Spain. We're losing that territory slowly. Hopefully we did not just lose the war for our Spanish friends knocking out the Kingdom of Spain. We did it relatively fast, so the Carlists don't have that many units. Which is usually what happens is one side wins at an incredible rate, and then the other side starts to struggle. Put you all back, and let's see. I want the absolute best admiral I have, which looks like Somerville. He's a good positioner. Okay, Cunningham will probably be my spotter. This gentleman down here might be my submarine guy. But alright, congratulations, Somerville. You'll take over here. And then my Pacific Command will just be forced into the Atlanta Command. Which I would like to actually have you all just come over here to Halifax. Take a little while for them to travel over there anyway. Suppress the Quebecios. As the order of the federal government, both the RCMP and the Canadian Armed Forces moved into Quebec in large numbers. Streets are being patrolled, large gatherings dispersed, and enforced to use when absolutely necessary in order to maintain order. The pictures of violence plastered on the front page of newspapers aren't sitting well with many Canadians, but most admit there appears to be little alternative at the moment. We cannot negotiate with the violence, the Prime Minister said to the House of Commons, and that appears to be the end of it. So must it be. We get the decision to suppress the Quebecs in Saguenay, St. Lawrence, and Quebec. We have a negative 10% popularity change for social conservatism, modify Anglo-French tensions by political power costs, negative 0.20, and 10% stability. So we gain some stability from that. We can suppress these guys, which gives us weekly stability. And the negative effects will be switched. Now over here, we're not suffering for one yet. We can intervention debate, eyes to the south, crossing the border, quid pro quo. Let's do empower the Anglophobes. Let's finish this out. Empower the Anglophobes. What's this? 30. So we can do all three of these. We'll think about it. Because I think empowering the Anglophobes also does that. Let's see. Come over here to Carlos, Spain. Okay, they pushed me out there. Democracy prevails in the Philippines.
Move out.
Come on, Carlos, Spain. Don't start losing now. Hawaii joins the co-prosperity sphere. Panama seizes the canal. Upon the start of the American Civil War, Panama took the 13-mile-long Panama Canal zone from the U.S. officially to safeguard it from radicalism. This could be advantageous for us, as we can demand the Panama either join the Entente or hand over the canal, as they would not be in good position to refuse. We demand the canal outright, demand they join the Entente and redirect some trade to the Entente, or leave them alone. No. We demand the canal. Let me also look. I do have my Marine divisions. Let me reset. I want to add Marines, add Marines, add Marines. Can't do anything else. We'll save that up. Only allowed 4, but that's alright. We'll get those 4 starting to be made up. Production efficiency gain for, what, Canada Air. That's fine with me. The extra research slot here. I wouldn't mind the air-launched torpedoes. But let's get MPs. We needed those. They decline the terms. Despite our highly generous terms, Panama has declined our request to the Panama Canal in our sphere of influence. We can either admit defeat or prepare for an invasion.
Ready.
We'll actually merge all you together. Take my submarines. They'll go out. Take all of you. Strike force. Alright.
Yes, sir.
We'll put Wingate in charge of you all. Riots at St. Catherine's Camp. Violence has been a common problem at the refugee camps due mainly to conflicts between the refugees themselves as well as with the guards, but also due to poor conditions. The St. Catherine's Camp is one of the most densely populated in the province, and conditions there have apparently gotten so bad that the full-scale riot by the refugees broke out. They overwhelmed the guards, spilling out of the camp and headed into the outer Toronto area, where they were eventually stopped by the Ontario Provincial Police. It is feared that this is only the first incident on this scale we're likely to see. This needs to stop. Gain negative 2% stability. We can suppress these guys. So now we have the Panama Canal crisis. Well, I don't really count it as a crisis because I'm about to just sink them. So we'll move these horses out. And really, if need be...
Ready! Attention!
Split half of you all up.
Attention!
And the other half, go right here. Yeah, so our motorized and our horses should move to the south. I don't think Panama has a very large military. Yeah, 1 to 3 divisions, so.
Ready!
From here to there, we'll put the 3rd and 2nd there.
Attention!
Carlos Spain, come on. Trade with America. The Dominion of Canada relies a great deal on its trade routes that go to the United States. Well, the Civil War has benefited us in some ways, namely the order for Canadian goods from abroad have increased as American sources become unreliable. The fact is that many of our exports have also gone to America itself, with our biggest customer now an unreliable destination. Our economy is left reeling and attempting to figure out what to do until the Civil War ends. We get hindered American trade, which grants consumer goods factory plus 20% and production efficiency cap negative 20%. That is horrible. Unexpected aid arrives. Aware of our trouble pacifying the Panamanians, the Costa Rican government has offered their ports and free access across their lands to help us in taking down Panama. In exchange, they expect us to protect them from the other nations in the region should the need arise. We don't need another liability, or we accept. They join the Entente. The only thing is, if Central America forms, they will go and take Costa Rica. They haven't done the bailout yet. They can join us. I kind of don't want to say yes, but at the same time, this could be a staging point down here. And we can take Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, or like when they become... Because you can't form Central America, right? Yeah, it's not part of your tree. I'm going to say no. I appreciate it, but I don't think Costa Rica is a good point for us. And it's not me being mean or anything. It's just me being honest. I don't think they will be as beneficial as I would hope for. Then I want you all to naval invade from there to right there. The Peru-Bolivian Confederation restored. It won't let me. So let me actually take you off. There we go. The first and the second motorized, and then my 3 horses can go against the actual capital there. Alright. We've got one. Well groomed. No, seducer, yeah. Let's begin a royal tour. King Edward tours the Dominion of Canada. Speaking to a large crowd in the capital, King Edward VIII commends the Canadian contribution to the Entente and kicks off a 3-month tour of the country. King Edward is expected to meet with officials and dignitaries throughout the Dominion of Canada, with at least one parade planned to be held in his honor in Newfoundland. Newspapers have been triumphing the King's itinerary, with a large crowd expected at each major stop, and the Canadian military leaders are reportedly also eager to consult with the King's attaches regarding the Entente coordination. We get the effects, which grants 3% stability, 10% war support, 10% mobilization speed, and plus 10% division recovery rate. Perfect. That's a 90-day deal there. Finishing up with empower the Anglophobes. Actually have you do naval invasion support. And if you're ready, nope, you've got what? 15.
Yes, sir.
18, 19, so 5 more days. That's fine. How are, as the empower the Anglophobes, the Quebec Premier is replaced. Through Quebec, English-speaking Canadians have been quietly replacing the Quebecios in important provincial positions, culminated with a new provincial election that resulted in the defeat of Maurice Duplessis and the election of Adrard Godbout, leader of the Quebec Liberals, and much more amenable to working with the federal government. There have been charges that the federal government went out of its way to quietly promote Godbout and suppress French-speaking Canadians from participating in the vote, but so far these charges have not been proven or are being actively ignored. Welcome Premier, change the popularity of social conservative negative 5%, gain 50 political power, and changes the Anglo-French tensions by negative 0.10 political power cost and plus 15% stability. Very nice. And we need to get rid of Quebec in flames, so we'll have to do, I guess, all 3 of those. We can come over here, start talking about the intervention debate. Probably intervene for New England, personally. You guys got 3 more days. We can invest in political power into the IEDC. We'll do 100. So that gives 1 full to our allies, or me. We can invest in New England and the French. Have them assist with the economy, with the naval repairs, or with construction speed. Plus 30%. That's awesome. Consumer goods factor. Let's see, what's we at? 11. Factory output plus 15. That would be nice. The dockyards. The construction speed would be nice too. Quite a bit. We're not really building a whole lot right now. So let's do this one, the economic advisors. I think that'd be the best. We do need to get some more steel from the Germans. We'll send you guys on. Should not take long. What we'll do is Refugees flood into northern Ontario. With the situation in America worsening, it's no surprise that the Dominion of Canada has become the top destination for those fleeing the violence. Many of the immigrants are legal, but an increasing large number are not. Already, there are several refugee camps in northern Ontario, many of them coming from Michigan this time. The numbers are putting a strain on our supplies. Observers comment that the situation is likely to get worse before it gets any better. American refugees, the irony, northern Ontario also adds local supplies, negative 20%. So now we have to kind of wait and see who is going to invest. The Austrian Empire declares war on Hungary. Crisis on the Danube. So they're attacking Cologne right there. And we've got the capital.
Ready! Move out!
And there you go. The fall of Baton Rouge, so federal forces have taken Baton Rouge. We'll actually come back up to the north. And we'll put this army also with these guys. Clashes in Windsor. The city of Windsor lies directly across from Detroit, a stronghold of the Syndicalist combined Syndicalists of America. We've suspected for a while now that Syndicalist agents have crossed the border secretly, some with refugees. Now it seems the belief has been vindicated, with the city being engulfed in clashes between industrial workers and the police. The police say these sympathizers are being spurred on by Syndicalist agents. Whether this is true or not, the violence has continued for several days, and only just now this is being contained. Lose 2% stability. Southern Ontario, the civilian factories receive 0.50 levels of damage. The crooked, disgusting Syndicalists. We probably will invest in New England and France, the French Republic. I want you guys to wholeheartedly start doing a lot more. Got the second square deal, and you guys went with the market liberals. And let's see. You guys are continuing to work on. Join the effort program. Got you. Gaining some fuel back. You all can come back up to Halifax. Up to Halifax. And that should give us what we would like to do with Panama, the fate of Panama. Liberate Panama, but retain the ownership of the canal. Make that much better. And then, of course, there's the intervention debate. Panama is now under Francisco Sinibaldi. Right on. Okay. Prospects of intervention. Parliament has begun a tense debate over whether the Canadian government should recognize one of the warring factions in the South, the Real America. It's a tricky situation, as doing so will anger the other factions and potentially leave us with a hostile victor in the South. But even worse is the prospect of the so-called combined Syndicalists of America winning the day. We cannot be expected to fight wars elsewhere with the Syndicalist government sending directly to our South, can we? For now, support merely means directing the Entente to send volunteers and equipment, but if we pick a side, some suggest our getting drawn into the conflict will become more inevitable. We should not get involved. The federal government is, of course, the only legitimate one, or we support the New England government. That's who we're going to support. New England, because they are technically our puppet. And we will invite Panama into the IEDC. Panama joins with 25 political power. Who should we choose now? West Indies? Maybe not. Australasia. Probably the Dominion of Canada. I'm really hoping that Canada is big, strong India. Oh, I said Canada, India. Big, strong India, and that we can have them beat the Baradia commune without much assistance. I mean, of course, we're going to go and assist, but I think the more we feed into India, the better off we'll be. Got to wait for that. We can expand the Air Force. Overhaul the Navy. Question of the Army. Oh, man. He's really good. Eyes to the south. The looming war. I guess we can't do any of that. Wouldn't mind going down here. Let's first do the open the federal relief camps for the Great Depression. We can return their lands, which we will not do anyway. 1937 Dutch elections. The Dutch do love their elections. East Turkestan. Ooh, I can return my troops to Spain. Oh. I think I did ruin the chances of a Carlist victory there. Research slot open. Let's see. Armor. I'm not a big light tank guy, but I have some seen here recently. Quite a few like really good playthroughs. There's the fall of Burgos. I don't know how they got there. They must have one unit just like skipping around. There goes Madrid as well. Yeah, man. I was really hoping to have Spain on our side. Abandon the south and move back north. Abandon the south and move back north. You got a wall. Research Mountaineers, because Mountaineers are always going to be important. I'm going to stop building these light tanks anyway. And yeah, anti-air and anti-tank. Always very important, especially fighting the Syndicalist in this game. The Syndicalist absolutely love tanks. And we'll also stop building all of these planes because they're trash. And do more rifles, more artillery, more support equipment. More trucks, and finish out with more AA and anti-tank. What's that? Missing equipment? Yeah, I don't care.
Ready.
That's how they got through there. Formation of the Moscow Accords. Militias cross into British Columbia. Syndicalist uprising in the state of Washington has spilled across the border as the militia units use it to evade and get around their opponents. This has caused considerable consternation in the region as Canadian forces have been needed to move in and tighten security, with several clashes already occurring along southern highways. Several incidents of attack and looting on civilian townships have led to British Columbia being gripped with fear, thinking that at any moment Syndicalist militias could arrive out of nowhere. Gain negative 2% stability. British Columbia, the infrastructure receives 1 level of damage, so complete damage.
Attention.
Sadly, my poor army does not have nearly the forces that I was hoping for.
Fall in. Ready, sir.
Your forces would aim for New York. Perfect. Construction wise, let me see. What's. Yeah, there's almost no supply there. Might need to actually build a naval base right here and connect you two. Icelandic independence. So Iceland is now independent under Mr. Thor's there.
Move out.
Southern Ontario refugee situation worsens, with officials in Southern Ontario have already been struggling to contain the number of American refugees crossing the border. Recently, the situation has grown ever worse. A new flood of refugees, mostly coming from Ohio, has already arrived and putting an increased strain on the province's infrastructure. Southern Ontario adds the following local supplies negative 20%. Rough.
Let 'em have it.
And they're all attacking me now. Oh yeah, right there. It's a big pocket you guys can cause. You got Burgos back. The Syndicalist crisis has been averted.
Yes, sir. Move out.
We're gonna move these guys south. Maybe we can kind of like loop around, cut some of these units off, or do something. Portugal has units over here. I think France still does. Let's do the Quebec there. Peru-Bolivian Confederation declared war on Ecuador. Do the better sonar. Can't believe we don't have any sonar right now. Support equipment, resource needed, negative 15%. It's really nice.
Fall in.
I don't know what the federal government will do down here. We'll do the CN rail expansions. What about you guys? What are you all doing? Reassure financial institutions. And you guys are reorganizing the National Guard instead of the Kenny mobilization plan. I'm okay with that. Kind of a more specialized.
Yes, sir.
See, they've all focused up here in the north. Which, of course, the headache. Sympathy strikes across Canada. Across the nation's numerous labor unions have risen up in sympathy strikes for the combined Syndicalists of America. The SBA, they say, it has been unfairly characterized as tyrannical when it's merely combating the larger tyranny of capitalism run rampant. They want the Canadian government to stop fear-mongering against Syndicalists. The strikes have been unruly and disruptive, and in several cases have resulted in violent clashes with the RCMP. Several arrests have been made, and the RCMP is keeping a close eye on strike organizers. Interestingly, lose 2% stability, 5% war support, and change in popularity of syndicalism plus 5%. Disgusting. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that meme of the lady. A kid took a giant poop in the toilet or something, and she didn't flush it, and she comes out and she's like, disgusting! Anyway, the refugee crisis. The number of illegal refugees crossing the border from America had become a national crisis, impacting the Dominion of Canada's stability and supply capabilities, not to mention the amount of soldiers required to keep the peace. If the current rate of arrivals continues, things are sure to get worse. Parliament is arguing that the government should focus on what to do, and quickly. We gained the American Refugee Crisis, which grants us daily political power costs plus 0.20, monthly population plus 50%, supply consumption plus 10%, and stability negative 5%. When we're done with the rails, we should be doing the new home of the free, probably American recruitment, and maybe the union of interests, and then we'll go down farther here.
Attention! Fall back!
Refugees flood into Manitoba. With the situation in America worsened, it's no surprise that the Dominion of Canada, so we've already heard this, it's just a different place, Manitoba, and from Minnesota. Manitoba adds the following local supplies, negative 20%.
Keep on attacking! Move out!
I wonder if I could walk to Barcelona and take it.
Move out!
Probably not, but we'll try. Manitoba refugees situation worsened, with the officials in Manitoba already been struggling to contain the numbers of American refugees crossing the border. Recently, the situation's grown even worse. Any flood of refugees, most common from Minnesota, have already arrived with an increased strain on the province's infrastructure. We add the following local supplies, negative 20%.
Move out! Move out!
Our forces have kind of gotten cut off here. I think I just hurt the Carlos Spain, not helped them.
Move out!
Yeah, I got that division encircled. Russian Republic declared war on all those breakaway states.
Move out!
Let's do another royal address. I don't know what that one's about, but okay. Out government proclaimed. Yeah, I think I just ruined the Carlos chance.
Move out!
If I could go back, I would have fought the Syndicalist first, then knocked out the Kingdom of Spain. The Italian state declared war on the Republic of Venice.
Ready!
Benefits from the CSN investment. It's taken some time, but we have reaped the rewards from our investment in the CSN in cold hard cash. While the ideal of an industrialized Brazil is grand, we need to be able to afford it, and thankfully the CSN has been incredibly profitable. Profit in Brazil, the world's changing. 100 political power, very nice.
Ready, sir!
Take you. Head north. There's the rail expansion, and to be honest with you, we're done. Let us Recall my volunteers. Do Home of the Free. Support the Canadian Prime Minister, which would be nice. Which I'll probably have to do. Try to get that social conservatism back up. Build some crown corporations in Nova Scotia and St. Lawrence. That's good. 16 more days and suppressing the Quebec people. My Marine divisions have finally been built. And we'll train up 10 more infantry divisions, which will need infantry equipment. And let's go to the international market. Let's look around. Who's selling what? Australasia's selling a bunch of rifles. I should just buy everything off of you. Use 5 factories, that's fine. Oh, right on. India has now went to war. And my Marine divisions will go under McNaughton, maybe? There's Henry, Duke of Gloucester. He's a hill fighter. He's pretty good, actually, with the commando skill. And you're engineer, which you're really good as well. I think I'll go with this guy. Congratulations, you just become the Royal Canadian Marine Division Commander. And I'm trying to figure out who I should send over to help in India. I might just wait for those new 10 divisions to arrive and then send them over. Or not arrive, but be trained up. Call to arms. We'll just hold off. Italy's preparing war against us. Right on. Probably not us, but the Sardinia. Yeah, the CNT FAI won that one. Which kind of does help us a little bit. But Cuba severs trade ties. The Cuban government, ostensibly in solidarity with the socialists the world over, have suspended all trade with our nation. We don't need those socialist hooligans anyway. Lose 5 political power. Didn't know Cuba even went socialist, but they did. Everybody wants me to join the war, which we can. Accept. Accept. Let's just trade with you for it, and we'll trade with whoever has tungsten. Peru, Bolivia, Confederation. There you go. Because you're authoritarian Democrats anyway. There's the fall of Washington. Syndicalist militias have advanced forward and captured the capital of the United States. The Wadi Empire. Oh yeah, the Princely Federation wants to send me some equipment. I'm okay with that. I did not realize that the French had declared war on the Wadi Empire. Iceland leaves Middle Europa. The people of Iceland are elected to leave Middle European sphere and attempt to forge a new web of independent trade. This could be an opportunity for us to find an ally closer to the home isles. Yes, it could be. Start building some convoys too. Everybody should be able to go up to full motorization. The Italian Civil War resumes with the 2 Sicilies going to war and the Italian state as well. Which they went to war while they're at war with Venice, which is kind of weird in my opinion, but I'm just going to be quiet. Does not have to make sense to me. This has to make sense to the AI, and I know that the AI, it doesn't make sense to it either. But it's just like we'll just go with what we do. Do some more industries. Yeah, everybody's going to war. Wait, why is everybody leaving? Go fight the Wadi Empire. What are you doing? Well, congratulations,
Ready!
you guys,
Ready, sir!
and you guys. You get to go fight the Wadi Empire.
Yes, sir!
You get to go fight the Wadi Empire. I can't seem to fathom why the French are leaving that, but, you know. What do I know? Northern Ontario refugee situation worsens while the officials in Northern Ontario have already been struggling to contain the numbers of American refugees crossing the border. Recently, the situation has grown even worse. Northern Ontario adds the following local supplies negative 20%. But you're right, that is worse. British Federation canceled their support for us. The Italian state was immediately annexed. Venice wants to, or not Venice, Panama wants to send me some rifles, which I'll gladly take. Production efficiency gain. And there goes Carlos Spain. I'm sorry, Carlos Spain. I'm sorry. Some war support, added war support. The Spanish Civil War is over. Now the Italian Federation goes to war with Socialist Republic of Italy. And these guys actually usually go and become friends with Austria over here. I'm kind of curious, Austria. Are you at war? Yeah, you are. So, can I have some guns? You hate me, right, Germany? Yeah, big time. I'd say everybody really hates me. Oh, well, Sweden likes me enough. Would you send me some rifles? Nope. Nope, not even close. Russia probably would if I asked them nicely multiple times. Japan hates me. The think tank government doesn't really like me. Nope, you hate me. Burma doesn't hate me, but Middle Africa wouldn't send me anything anyway. Oh, Brazil. Brazil, you really like me. You won't send me guns, though. Alright, we'll just keep on going. Well, the French just moved some troops in. A Hobbit or there and back again. The George Alwyn and Unwin Publishing House had put out a book by British immigrant J.R.R. Tolkien, who returned to South Africa following the Revolution. It tells the story of Bilbo Baggins and a strange small creature called a Hobbit, or a strange small creature called a Hobbit, who goes on an adventure featuring wizards, dwarves, giants, goblins, and fire-breathing dragons before returning home a wealthy man. The tale has already received widespread criticism and acclaim, and Tolkien has been nominated for widespread critical acclaim, and Tolkien has been nominated for literary prizes. There have been hints that he is working on something longer and larger, but the author's notorious perfectionism might well delay its publishing. Agreed to a non-aggression pact with the princely federations. Did they go non-aligned? Yeah, they went authoritarian Democrat. Russia defeated Alash Orda. Oh, they've kind of cut them in half right there. There's Home of the Free. I want to move that before I click on anything. The new Home of the Free. Parliament has been engulfed by arguments over what to do regarding the American refugees. Doing nothing is not an option, but many MPs are saying that a massive relief effort is needed to improve conditions in the camps. The expanse, they say, is justified because Americans are our brothers and sisters, and we must take care of them in their hour of need. In a similar vein, Louis St. Laurent has proposed that he calls Project Samaritan an even broader relief effort, spreading out the camps and housing refugees with average Canadians. They're the most able would be put to work alongside factory workers and laborers, a far better life than doing nothing inside a camp. The Conservatives, meanwhile, say that the security risk is too great. They have proposed the majority of refugees all be shipped to New England, along with all newcomers. This is an American problem, they say, and it should be handled by Americans. They're right. They need helps within reason, or enact the Project Samaritan, which is 250 political power, negative 10% stability, change the popularity of social conservatism plus 5%, place American Refugee Crisis with Project Samaritan, effective change, daily political power cost plus 0.20, 100% monthly population, the supply consumption negatives gone, the consumer good factors plus 20%, 5% stability, 10% construction, and 10% factory output. We help them within reason. I kind of wonder what Project Samaritan will get me in the end. It has to be something good. So we're going to go into political power debt and do Project Samaritan. We can expand the rails. Can't do anything there yet. Air Force. Let's do the American recruitment. Added manpower will depend on how many refugee camps exist and how well the refugees have been treated. Join the Canadian military to retake your homeland. As the collapse of the Union, the American Union States has fallen. Against Quentin Roosevelt, actually. Okay. I like Quentin Roosevelt. Peninsula India declares war to the Dutch East Indies. More violence in St. Lawrence. The anti-government violence continues, this time in St. Lawrence region. A large group of French-Canadian marchers set fire to several factories, causing considerable damage before RCMP forces were able to disperse the group and bring order to the region. Tension in St. Lawrence remains high. There's the fall of Delhi. That's unbelievable. St. Lawrence's civilian factories receive 0.50% damage. Argentina declares war on the Patagonian Workers' Front. The Chilean-Argentina War. Nicaragua went to war with who? Socialist Republic of Honduras. I wish I could send these guys some assistance, but man, I'm struggling. Just about everything. So if I could, I would, but I can't, and they're just gonna have to deal with that. That's okay. We're at negative 150 political power right now. Puerto Rico and the combined Syndicalists and their hostilities. King Edward's address. King Edward VIII today addressed the nations of the Entente by radio, issuing a somber note regarding the onset of the Second Civil War in America. Our heart goes out to those noble Americans who now find themselves called upon to fight against the forces of tyranny and oppression in their own homeland. He said, for we know full well the consequences of their failure, as well as the terrible cost to one's soul when the enemy is one one's countrymen. Our alliance cannot merely grieve for the devastation. However, we must stand ready to act, for the fate of America is intricately linked to our own. Should America fall to syndicalism, so too shall the dominion of Canada, and then us all. Would that we do not need to consider such a great possibility as intervention, but consider it we must for the good of all humanity. Long live the King, plus 7.5% war support.
Yes, sir.
These guys have finally arrived. Once they get over here, I'm going to just have them start fighting. Start pushing. Assist in defeating the Wadi Empire while we were still at war with. I could never tell you, but they save up. And then we'll send these guys over here to fight. An alliance with Portugal. International relations is often fluid, with agreements and alignments quickly shifting from generation to generation. Sometimes, even within a generation, pacts are signed and discarded as interests change. The instability fostered after Black Monday and other political developments around the world has heightened fears in many weaker nations that the great powers coming to blows will catch them in the middle, while some turn to isolation either because of their own domestic turmoil or in hopes that neutrality will make them not worth the time for various powers to prey upon. Portugal has taken the opposite approach. With an internal issues now resolved, the people in Portugal are now looking outward, hoping to find protection alliances provide. We perhaps due to superior geographic conditions, military power, ideological consistencies are our Entente's choice of ally. The question now remains: do we accept them? Another ally in our pact does mean further resources contributed to our combined forces, though any additional dangers they add for our faction is dangers that will be taken into common. Any competing claims need to be taken into consideration, and any discord that may be caused between faction members, what should be our decision. Portugal joins the Entente. Yeah, because I'm going to use Portugal as my staging point against Spain, so perfect. Active sonar instead of passive sonar. Invite Portugal into the IEDC. If they put 100 in, I will just reimburse it right back to them. He probably will only put 50. Oh, only 25, never mind. And Portugal joins us in our war against the Baradia Commune, which is losing pretty steadily. For some reason, the Dominion did this like really weird naval invasion over here, which is whatever, but it is still odd. And they've encircled these two units. Justification: the Italian Federation is justifying on us. Well, they're about to be defeated anyway, and they're actually not justifying on us; they're justifying on Sardinia. The British exile arrested. A wealthy British exile who was also a highly placed member of King Edward's inner circle was recently arrested for murder of his wife, also an exile living in the Dominion of Canada. The charges bring up several sticky points, not least of which is whether Canadian courts have jurisdiction over a British national. Other expatriates have been arrested in the past, but never someone of such high profile, and the Canadian press have pounced on the scandal to the point where the public lingers over each day's lurid headlines. King Edward is willing to personally intervene on the man's behalf, though it would cost the king a great deal of his reputation. There are others who say it's time for the government to step in. If the king wishes to intervene, let him allow the trial to play out, or the Canadian government must intervene. His popularity can take a hit. Flanders joins the Reichspakt. I personally think you should just let him be killed for killing his wife, but not everybody agrees with me. Let's see, we should knock out the Wadi Empire here pretty soon. They really didn't have much of a military, but for some reason the French struggled to bring them to the fold. Paraguay declared war on Argentina. Okay. Kind of weird.
Ready!
Peru declared war, or the Peru-Bolivian Confederation declared war on Paraguay. American recruitment of refugees begin. All across the country, recruiters are now active at refugee camps, offering the most able a placement within the army, most understanding that this is a temporary agreement. Once the war is over, it seems likely that many of them will leave the army and return home once again. In the meantime, however, our good treatment of the refugees have led to a large number of men entering our service. They'll fight for the country which is taking them in, they say, even if it means fighting against Americans back home. Good to hear. Gained 75,000 manpower. That is awesome. And then we'll do eyes to the south. Aprist Revolution in Peru. So it's no longer the Peru-Bolivian Confederation. It's the Andean Aprist Confederation, which is Syndicalist. Why? Why must you do this to me? Come on, Nicaragua. Beat Honduras. Sardinia declared war on the Syndicalist Republic of Italy, which brings all of us into the war. It just pass. There we go. Perfect. Now, you guys come up here. Sardinia to Genoa. Just split in half. Sardinia to La Piaz. Fallback line in here, over here in Sardinia. Give me a convoy. The fall of Bucharest over in Hungary. Russia knocked out the Turkestan Republic. I wish I could come and help the Dominion of Dominion of India, but they seem to be doing okay. And truthfully, I'm more worried about Sardinia falling than them. So. You're all submarines. Oh yeah. Merge everybody. And then you all can be my scouting fleet under Cunningham, and then you all can go under Tom Spencer. So I want you all, select all, to come here with our strike force in these 3 central locations. Actually, we can add the Adriatic Sea just to have it. You all, I want convoy rating, and I want you patrolling all of these. Send my entire fleet over there. Let's see. The United States somewhat holding. Really what we're looking at is how well New England is doing with their conscription and everything. You all are doing the reconstruction of the financial corporation. Who's in charge? Louis O. Barrows, Newport, Maine. He's a pharmacist. Huh. Factory up. Wow. He actually's got a pretty strong leadership traits there. Everybody's giving me one convoy at a time. One. About started singing copyrighted music there. Let's see. Our fleet's moving in. Our Marines are getting ready, which I'd actually like to change them up a little bit. Whoops. Give you artillery, artillery support, and engineer support. Do I have enough artillery to do this? I do. Congratulations. Actually, I know that really hurts our organization. If I take you off, you're at 48. That's fine. And you guys, artillery. Do I have enough for that? No, but we won't be too far off. So. And produce more artillery. Alright, I know this episode's going a little long. I'm trying to get it to end. Alright. Well, I'm going to end the episode here. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.